Olá, seja bem-vindo ao Audiobook da Morgan. A leitura de hoje são os capítulos 10 e 11 do livro Utz. Mas antes de começarmos esta leitura, eu vou pedir para que você se inscreva no canal e ative o sininho das notificações, por favor. Capítulo 10. Yossel was the name of the Rabbi Lo's golem. On weekdays he did all sorts of menial tasks. He chopped wood, swept the street and the synagogue, and acted as watchdog in case the Jesuits got up to mischief. Yet on the Sabbath, since all God's creatures must rest on the Sabbath, his master would remove the Shem and render him lifeless for a day. One Sabbath, the rabbi forgot to do this, and Yossel went berserk. He pulled down houses, threw rocks, threatened people, and tore up trees by the roots. The congregation had already filled the Alternate synagogue for morning prayers and was chanting the 92nd Psalm, "My horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of the unicorn." The rabbi rushed into the street and snatched the Shem from the monster's head. Another version places the deaf amid old books and prayer shawls in the loft of the synagogue. Tell me, I asked, would a golem have had Jewish features? Not, Utz answered with a touch of impatience. The golem was always a servant. Servants in Jewish houses were always of the goyim. Would a golem have had Nordic features then? Yes, he agreed, giant's features. Utz brooded for a while and then arrived at the crux of the discussion. All these tales suggested that the golem maker had acquired arcane secrets, yet in doing so had transgressed holy law. A man-made figure was a blasphemy. A golem, by its presence alone, issued a warning against adultery and actively beseeched its own destruction. Would you say then, I asked, that art collecting is adultery? Ja, he struck his chest. Of course. That is why we Jews, in this matter I consider myself a Jew, are so good at it, because it is forbidden, because it is sinful, because it is dangerous. Do your porcelains demand their own death? He stroked his chin. I do not know. It is a very problematical question. The other visitors had left. A black cat had positioned itself on the crest of a tombstone. The guardian told us it was time to leave. And now, my friend, said Utz, would it amuse you to see my collection of dwarfs? Capítulo 11. An odour of sulphurating cabbage leaves seeped from a dustbin in the entrance hall. A rat hopped off of it as we approached. In an apartment on the second landing, a baby wailed and someone was trying to master one of Dorvik's Slavonic dances on an out-of-tune piano. On the third landing, a woman opened her door to see who was passing, a hysterical face under a heap of auburn curls. She wore a peignoir of magenta peonies and vehemently slammed the door shut. She is mad, Utz apologized. She was a famous soprano once. On the top floor, he caught his breath, fumbled for his latchkey, and ushered me inside. The smell was familiar to me, the stale smell of rooms where works of art are kept and dusting considered dangerous. In a dingy green kitchenette off the hallway, Utz's servant sat perched on a stool. She was a solid woman dressed awkwardly in a maid's uniform, with glowing cheeks and sandy hair flecked with grey. Over a black woolen dress there was a frilly white apron, and across her forehead a fillet of lace. Her legs were encased in black stockings which had a pair of white potatoes at the knee. She was expecting us. In her lap she cradled a dish of emblazoned white porcelain which, I knew from my arty days, was a piece of the celebrated swan service made by Candler and the Saxon First Minister, Count Bruhl. On it she had arranged some slivers of cheese and crackers, Hungarian salami, and rounds of pickled cucumber cut in the form of flowers. She bowed her head deferentially. "Guten Abend, Herr Baron." "Guten Abend, Martha," he returned her greeting. We moved into the room. Behind the net curtain, a single north-facing window looked out across the trees of the cemetery. "I didn't know you were a baron," I said. "Yes," he blushed. "I am a baron also." The room, to my surprise, was decorated in the modern style, almost devoid of furniture apart from a daybed, a glass-topped table, and a pair of Barcelona chairs upholstered in green leather. Utz had rescued these in Moravia from a house built by Mies van der Rohe. It was a narrow room, made narrower by the double bank of plate glass shelves, all of them crammed with porcelain that reached from floor to ceiling. The shelves were backed with mirror, so that you had the illusion of entering an enfilade of glittering chambers, a dream palace multiplied to infinity, through which human forms flitted like insubstantial shadows. The carpet was grey. You had to watch your step for fear of tripping over one of the white porcelain sculptures, a pelican, a turkey cock, a bear, a lynx and a rhino, modelled either by Candler or Eberlin for the Japanese palace in Dresden. All five were scarred with fissures caused by faults in the firing. Utz waved in some bottles on the table, Scotch, Slivovik and a sodium siphon. "It is Scotch, isn't it?" "Scotch," I said. At the whoosh of the siphon, the maid emerged with her canopies on the swan service dish. Her movements seemed so lifeless and mechanical, you would have thought that Utz had created a female golem. Yet I detected the suggestion of a superior smile. "Cheerio," said Utz, mimicking an English gentleman's accent. "Your health," I raised my glass and took stock of my surroundings. Se você gostou desta leitura, curta esse vídeo e deixe os seus comentários abaixo. Até a próxima leitura. Bye bye.